Our national debt is killing us. We must cut our budget deficit in a big way if the US is not going to be surpassed by the Chinese. We have a bipartisan agreement that our country is spending too much on healthcare. It takes up 20% of the federal budget alone. The federal, state and local governments combined spend more on healthcare than on education.
Right. And much of it is wasted. 28% of Medicare spending alone goes to recipients' final year of life. Here is our plan. We want to give Americans with terminal illnesses an incentive to die earlier and pass on the saving to their loved ones.
Is the Congress going to legalize physician-assisted deaths?
Yes.
How can we reduce federal spending if you are simply pass on the saving to the loved ones?
Good question. But we are going to pass on only part of the saving, not all of the saving.
And we are going to let the early exiters sell their donated organs for profit. That is all for today. Thank you.
Dr. Kerr, your country, NowhereLand, has set up a business venture to invite terminal patients to die with you. Is that right?
Yes, NowhereLand is the only country in the world that makes a profit out of helping people to die.
Where is NowhereLand, sir?
Come die with us. We do dying left and right. NowhereLand is my land. NowhereLand is your land.
What is NowhereLand's business model, Dr. Kerr?
NowhereLand's end-of-life resort business is the ultimate job creation program for a country with high unemployment.
How could the dying business create a lot of jobs?
Well, we have a whole business package that begins with healthcare tourism and ends with funeral. First, we fly the early exiter and his or her close relatives down to NowhereLand to have an all-expense-paid farewell party. Then, we give a dignified passage party to the early exiter, in this case, Mrs. Donor, and her close relatives.
Today, we are here to say farewell to Mrs. Donor, who has generously donated her organs. Would the recipients acknowledge her gifts, please?
Thank you very much, Mrs. Donor.
And Mrs. Donor will leave her estate to 3 charities. Would the charities acknowledge her gifts, please?
Thank you, Mrs. Donor.
Let's observe a moment of silence, please.
Dr. Kerr, this sounds like the win-win solution to life and death problems. Whose idea is it? Dr. Funk published this idea many years ago, but NowhereLand is the only country that has the courage to put it into practice.
Dying well is just as important as living well.